have to stay up 24 hours a day and a night just to keep up with it. We have the great fortune today of having two people who live, breathe, and sleep it. I guess you don't sleep anymore, do you? And eat it. That I guess would be the third one. After living and breathing it, and we in Ezekiel and Roger, and so we're really, really pleased to be able to have a chance to hear from you and then have some really good discussion about what do we do, given all these variables now in the South, in Darfur, in national level, local level, all the various dynamics that are at play now. So thanks so much for coming. I know you guys have been traveling a lot in the region and around the country, so you have good perspectives both from the field and, you know, what kind of grassroots Americans are interested in, so which would still remains a very strong and dynamic part of the U.S. policy-making process. Thankfully, otherwise it would be a disaster. So, so that's my little intro, and turn it over to our two guests here. I'm really, really happy that you guys were able to come and share some time with us. Thanks.
Shoot.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Thank you very much, John. So happy to be here also. Thank you for your hard work keeping Sudan alive and making sure that the issues of Sudan are getting out there so that people can hear what is happening in Sudan. Thanks to Esther and others who managed to put this together. We're so happy. As a Sudanese, I'm so happy that there are some people out there who are concerned about Sudan and trying to help in resolving all the problems that we are having in Sudan. I will be briefed, and my uncle, Roger Winter, will finalize it.
I guess we're related because he's my uncle too.
Yes. Basically, Sudan is a complex issue. We have a very difficult history. Briefly, I just wanted to talk about the CPA. The CPA was signed in 2005. It was meant to address two issues, basically. One is to transform Sudan into a better Sudan for all of us, democratic transformation. And the second option is to, you know, give the rights of self-determination, Southern Sudanese, to express their own will through this self-determination, because in 1956, when Sudan was granted its independence, then they were not consulted. As of now, we are going to almost 6 years. We have less than 9 months left for the CPA to come to an end. People of Southern Sudan are going to vote on the 9th of January, 2011. And based on what we are hearing and the researchers, those who did surveys and conducted their own studies, they came out very clearly that in 2011, if the people of Southern Sudan are going to be given this opportunity to express their will, 98% of the people of Southern Sudan are going to vote for separation. This is coming. It is not a myth. And what we are telling the world is that we need to prepare for it. In 2011, we will have two countries. That is known. And, so even though we are trying to make unity attractive, but for the last 5 years it has been very ugly to Southerners. And I don't think they have you know, this interest in the unity of Sudan anymore, because it has been very disturbing to them. If this is what is coming, then what do we need to do to make sure that it's a peaceful divorce? It is not a forceful divorce between the North and the South. And I think it is very important for us to look at the issue of the post-2011 arrangement. What can we do to make sure that the North is happy and the South is also happy? And we are actually going to live as neighbors, of course. We just wanted to make sure that we live as peaceful neighbors, not fighting one another. And I think it is very important for us to be helped in reaching an agreement on the post-2011 arrangement, the issue of oil, the issue of assets and debts, and also citizenship, you know, Northerners in the South and Southerners in the North. So we have to have an agreement, and I think it is very important for the IGAD countries, and thanks to them, because they have called a summit last week, and they are now going to engaged more in helping us to implement the rest of the pending issues in the CPA, and also helping us in reaching an agreement on the post-2011 arrangement. It is very important for us because the South needs the pipeline to continue because this is where we are getting our resources. And of course, the North wanted to continue to have some access to our resources in the South. So it is also our mutual interest, the two of us, to reach an agreement on those issues, especially, and also the water. How are we going to continue to have water share? Egypt is also involved in this. But of course, the South will not stop the flow of the Nile River. It will continue to flow northward. But I think we just wanted to make sure that we have an understanding how we can continue to share those. If you look at it, there are 3 events that needs to be clearly watched and monitored, because that can reignite the war very quickly. One of them is the issue of the elections that we are going to have in 2010, April. I think we are left with less than a month now. We are going to have it. And in the SPLM, we are worried also how free and fair this election will be. Because if you have a sitting head of state who is indicted, will he afford to lose election? And will he accept the outcome of the elections if he loses? So it is going to be very difficult for this election to be free and fair. But I think we are actually trying to inform the world that they need to come to Sudan to monitor. Not only monitoring, but have full access to the polling centers and serious access to the process of the election, so that we avoid rigging. Because as of now, if you look at it, I might be biased, but if you look at it, there are 16 million registered voters in Sudan. And out of 16 million, 5 is from the south. And this is the base of Yasser Arman. You are left with only 11 million people. And then this is where Sadiq al-Mahdi, and then Siri, and then Bashir himself. So I'm 100% sure that he will not get the absolute majority in this April election. And that will lead us into the second runoff. This is where the oppositions will unite behind the person who is having the highest votes. And we are sure it will be Yasser. And then Bashir will not make it, because people of Darfur, they are not happy with him. Southern Bruna, Nuba Mountains, Eastern Sudan, even the IDPs that are in Khartoum, they will not vote for him. So who do you have for him to vote? And for us, as Sudanese, we are also fed up with what is happening in Sudan. You know, when you are a Sudanese and you have Sudanese passport and you are traveling to US or to anywhere in the world, you are being seen a terrorist. You'll be strip searched, and it is because of one man. So people are also fed up. And then I think the best way for them to express their voices is through this election. If it is going to be free and fair, I'm 100% sure Bashir is not going to win it. But if he's not going to win and he will not accept the outcome, then that also can lead us into war. There are uprisings, because the supporters will come out. It will be just like the situation of Kenya and Zimbabwe and also Iran. So we need to avoid that by making sure that the election is monitored. The second one is the border demarcation between the north and the south. It has to be done before the referendum, because if this one is not demarcated, then it will lead us into the situation of Eritrea, Ethiopia. It has to be demarcated before the referendum in 2011, and we have only 9 months left now. And this is the second one. The last one is the referendum itself. For Southerners, we can compromise the election, but referendum is a no-go area. It cannot be extended for a day or two, because that will be basically a declaration of war to the south. And because this is what we have been fighting for the last 40 years, from 55 until 72 and from 83 until now. So this is what we wanted to see happening on time. And the people of Southern Sudan has to be given this opportunity so that they can express their aspirations, their political aspirations, if they wanted to be a part of Sudan or not. And I think the last one that I can add into number 4 is the post-2011 arrangement itself.